Wow. Wow. Yowie wowie. This probably ended up being one of the best pay-per-views of 2020 in my opinion. I think this was definitely one of the best pay-per-views in 2020. Just my opinion. And I have to say, a lot of things happened tonight. A few of the things that happened tonight, I expected. So let's talk about it. But I definitely did not expect what happened in the main event, like at the end. So we'll get to that. So we had Apollo Crews beat MVP on the pre-show, as Apollo should. There was really no reason for Apollo to win. I thought, like, yes, in my predictions, I predicted MVP because I thought they were going to do something big, like a Cedric heel turn or something. Because I was thinking of the "You'll never see it coming" tagline. But you know what's funny about that tagline? That tagline never came in effect at all. Well, it kind of did at the very end. That tagline, you know, really came into effect right after the Fiend's match. So, whatever happened on this show, we as fans, we expected majority of it. There was no retribution. That was one big massive problem. There was no retribution. You thought maybe retribution would screw up a couple of matches. But we'll talk more about that later. We'll talk more about that stuff later. Apollo beat MVP, which was the right decision to do. I don't think Apollo should be, losing, to MVP. Because he's old. If Apollo Crews is going to lose the championship to anybody, if it was going to be to anybody in the Hurt Business, it would have to be Bobby Lashley. But I kind of want Apollo Crews to move on from them now. I kind of want Apollo to move on from the Hurt Business. I want to see him defend the title against, maybe Andrade or maybe Angel Garza, or Ricochet or Cedric Alexander. We're also getting the return of Aleister Black. So who knows? Maybe that is going to be Apollo's next feud. A heel Aleister Black, which we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that too. So yeah, Apollo Crews got the win over MVP as he should have. The first match was Bayley. I literally did not think she was actually going to be the literal first match. She faces Asuka first, which the right woman won. The right woman won. Bayley successfully retained. She retained due to Sasha Banks' help. And it was actually the way that I kind of predicted that Sasha was going to help Bayley. Bayley was going to beat Asuka with Sasha's help. And with Bayley winning, it was quite obvious that Sasha was going to lose because of the laughing that she did on SmackDown, the post-match interview after Bayley's match. Like, to me, it was just very obvious at that point. So next we had the Street Profits defeating Angel Garza and Andrade. I don't know if they're still planning on splitting up Andrade and Angel Garza. I feel like they really should at this point because I don't know what else you could do with them as a tag team. I would love to see Cedric Alexander and Ricochet get a shot at the tag team titles, but, this goddamn company doesn't have much tag teams. They don't have a lot of tag teams, so it's kind of hard to think about what they could do here for the tag team titles. But it is what it is. And then Kevin Owens, he was on commentary. He brought up that he'll be bringing back Aleister Black. Aleister Black will be returning on the Kevin Owens show. This is WWE's best chance to pull the trigger on an Aleister Black heel turn. Imagine Aleister Black as a heel. Aleister Black as a heel. I think he'd be a great heel. I think I think he'd be an amazing heel. I think he has all the potential in the world to be one of the most devastating heels on Monday Night Raw. Imagine Aleister Black beating Apollo Crews for the United States Championship. Just imagine it. I can picture Aleister Black as a heel. I can picture him winning the United States Championship out of frustration and anger of how he's been mistreated. He's been heavily mistreated, and in my personal opinion, having Aleister Black turn heel would actually be really incredible. I think it'd be incredible to go with Aleister Black as a heel, in my personal opinion. Next we have Mandy Rose taking on Sonya Deville in a loser leaves WWE match. Now, the only reason why this match got changed to that is because of the whole kidnapping thing that happened with Sonya in real life. You know, they're obviously having her deal with that. They obviously want her to go deal with that, deal with the whole, kidnapping situation, go to court, deal with the creepy guy that tried to stalk her and kidnap her and all that stuff. I think that's the reason why they changed the match. Because I don't think they would have changed the match. The match would not have changed if nothing happened. If Sonya never had this incident, this match would not have changed at all. This match would not have changed. This match would have remained a hair versus hair match if what happened to Sonya did not happen in real life. Right woman won. Right woman won, in my opinion. Mandy Rose got the win, as she should have. It feels like an eternity that Mandy won a match. It feels like it's been an eternity. When was the last time Mandy Rose actually won a match? I feel like it's been a year. It feels like it's been ages. Mandy Rose never wins matches. Mandy Rose is an incredible talent. Look, so is Sonya. She's good too, but I'm not the biggest fan of Sonya. I see the future that Sonya has. I love Mandy Rose. She's one of my favorites. I really don't like Mandy's new look. I think Mandy's new look doesn't really fit to me. I love her being the long blonde, the attractive long blonde. I think that look suited her better. What's next for Mandy Rose after this? They could put her up against Bayley, but I feel like they gotta start with. I feel like they've gotta get ready to do the Sasha Bayley stuff after what happened today on the Survivor Series. I feel like they have to. Just get ready to do the Sasha Bayley thing after what happened. So I think maybe Mandy could go on and feud with, I don't know, maybe a Tamina. She could have a match with a Tamina or a Dana Brooke. Maybe a Nikki Cross, or maybe even a returning Carmella. Who knows? Maybe Mandy Rose ends up costing Otis the briefcase. I just can't see Otis successfully cashing in. I love Mandy. I just can't see Otis cashing in. I know a lot of people think Otis is going to become Universal Champion. I just can't see it. A part of me thinks Mandy Rose is going to turn heel. Part of me thinks that maybe Mandy's going to turn back heel and cost Otis a chance to become Universal Champion. It's just what I think. I want to see Mandy as a babyface, but a part of me thinks that she's probably going to turn heel eventually down the road. As for Sonya Deville, they could always bring... How do they bring back Sonya Deville? Draft her! That's how you bring back Sonya Deville. You draft her to Monday Night Raw. That's what I feel like they should do. They should draft her to Monday Night Raw. Get her away from Mandy. She doesn't need to be feuding with Mandy anymore. The feud's over. This match was to end the feud. That's what the commentator said. This match was to culminate their long rivalry that has been going on since WrestleMania. It started and stopped a couple of times. But they said that this was the culmination to their rivalry. So Mandy got the win. There's no reason for Sonya to come back wanting revenge on Mandy. So move Sonya to Raw. Draft her over to Monday Night Raw. Give her some new, fresh matches. If you want to bring Sonya Deville back as a babyface, you can. Bring her back to Raw as a babyface. Have her up against... And if Shayna Baszler is the Raw Women's Champion by then, you could bring Sonya back as a babyface. MMA fighter versus MMA fighter. You could do something like that. I'm more willing to give Sonya a chance as a babyface if they do something good for her. But I just can't vision Sonya Deville as a likable character. To me, I really can't visual her as a likable character. She seems to be... She's just that... She just reminds me of Victoria. She reminds me a lot of Victoria. And I just think Sonya just needs to remain as a heel. But I do think when we see Sonya Deville again, I'm pretty sure she's going to be on the Monday Night Raw brand. I think they will draft her to Raw to get her away from Mandy. Or maybe they send Mandy to Raw and they keep Sonya on SmackDown. I don't know. But there is a draft coming up. We don't know when it's coming. But they did say there is a draft coming up. So I think Mandy or Sonya could possibly be switching brands. I just don't see them staying on the same brands together after this feud, because I feel like this feud just culminated with Mandy Rose's win. Mandy Rose wins the match for the first time since I have no freaking clue when. I have no freaking clue when was the last time Mandy Rose won a match. Next we had Seth Rollins face Dominic Mysterio. This actually wasn't bad. I didn't have a problem with this match at all. I thought this match was actually quite fun. Dominic Mysterio does have a lot of potential to be a huge star. He did way better than Pat McAfee. I wasn't impressed with Pat McAfee at all. I was more impressed with Dominic here. I think Dominic put up one hell of a fight. He had one hell of a match. It was great. I actually liked it. I didn't mind it. Rey Mysterio was instrumental. You know, he was scared for Dominic. Rey's wife and Dominic's mum was there. They had that whole thing happen. It was a great match. I didn't mind it at all. I didn't mind this at all. Dominic has a bright future. He really does. He has a real bright future in WWE. He's a stud. He's a young stud, that kid. He's a young stud, that young boy Dominic. He's a real young star. I've got a lot of praises for him. He's 23 years old now. And he's already putting on, a solid match with Seth Rollins. Imagine how good he will be when he gets older. People say that a lot about Sasha when she was younger. She's so good now. So I think Dominic is going to have a bright future. Speaking of Sasha Banks defended her Raw Women's Championship against Asuka, which was right after this match. Seth Rollins beat Dominic. And I hate to say this to you guys, I told you so. I called this from the very beginning when I made my predictions. This is how I saw this going. Asuka versus Sasha was a brilliant match. It was a brilliant match, don't get me wrong, but the problem I have is that fans take the result too seriously because Sasha loses. She loses the Raw Women's Championship, which made sense to the storyline. It made sense to the storyline. Asuka was always going to walk away with one of the titles. She was always going to walk away with one. Now, my main problem that I've had ever since Sasha lost the title, I've seen so many fans whine and cry about how Sasha has never defended the Raw Women's Championship, how she's never been able to successfully retain a singles title ever. Out of the 5 times she's won it, she's lost it immediately. So what? Just, to me, the bigger picture is the rivalry with her and Bayley. That's the bigger picture here. So My problem is that fans take this curse so seriously that she's never been able to retain a singles title. They would have rathered her just retain today just to put an end to the curse. I'm sorry, but the curse shouldn't be a reason why Sasha Banks has to retain no matter what. The curse should not be your number one priority here. I didn't care about the Sasha can't defend the title curse. I completely ignored that. I completely ignored the whole curse. Like, I knew Sasha was losing this match. I wasn't even concerned about the curse. I wasn't concerned about the curse. I didn't care about the curse. I knew she was losing. So it didn't matter. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. What did you think? Did you think WWE was going to run with this 2 belts Banks and Bayley DOS straps thing for a whole year? There was no way they were going to run with this for so long. Sasha Banks, she's a great athlete. But I have a bit of issues with their fans about how they just can't accept the bigger picture. There is a bigger picture in this angle. WWE should not be messing up the storyline with Sasha and Bayley just for a curse. Just for a curse that she can't defend a title. They should just put the rivalry on hold. Sasha deserves a long championship run. So you would rather her not continue her feud with Bayley? You would rather her not worry about her feud with Bayley? Her feud with Bayley is what's important here. There's a bigger picture. And the bigger picture is Sasha Banks winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. And I can guarantee you, mark my words, in this video, mark my words, when Sasha Banks wins the SmackDown Women's Championship from Bayley, she will be defending that title like it's no tomorrow. She'll defeat Bayley. She'll retain against Bayley. She'll retain again and 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 again. She'll get a WrestleMania moment. She'll defend again and again and again. Sasha Banks will have a long run as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Guarantee it! Guarantee it! Mark my words in this video. She was never going to retain in this match with Asuka. The word retain never came to my mind when Sasha wrestled Asuka. I know people love Asuka. I know people love Sasha. I have a ton of friends that love Sasha Banks. But the word retain never came to my mind. The curse of her never defending a title never came to my mind. So a curse has to... I never really believed that a curse should be the number one reason why she should retain no matter what. There's a bigger picture, and that bigger picture is Bayley and that SmackDown Women's Championship. They're gonna lose those tag team titles. They're losing those tag team titles at Payback. And then when they lose the tag team titles, Bayley's gonna turn on Sasha. Sasha turns babyface, and you're off and running. That's how it goes. That's how it needs to go. Sasha Banks should not be holding a title that doesn't belong to her. She's a SmackDown superstar. She's a SmackDown superstar. She's not a Raw superstar. If she was a Raw superstar, then yes, I would understand why you'd be upset. And if she wasn't feuding with Bayley, and there was no plans to have her and Bayley feud at all, then I'd understand your frustrations. But because Bayley and Sasha have been teasing a feud for a better part of all year, all year long, we've been seeing them teasing stuff, throwing each other under the bus, accepting matches on each other's behalf. You just want to throw all that away just for one title defense? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it's not the case here. Sasha will retain her championship when she gets her hands on that blue belt. Mark my words. Then we had Drew McIntyre face Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. This match was quite boring, quite slow. It's kind of what Randy does. He's a bit of a slow wrestler, but, you know, Drew McIntyre can be considered that too. Drew McIntyre retained here with a backslide. Now, I want to say I don't have a problem with Randy losing. Okay? I have no issues with Randy Orton losing this match. Doesn't bother me. It didn't bother me that Sasha Banks lost. And I wasn't bothered with Randy losing. Randy could most likely get a rematch. I think he's definitely going to have a rematch with Drew McIntyre at Payback. They're going to have some kind of tagline on Payback. Payback's a bitch is a good tagline. And that could definitely affect the Sasha and Bayley storyline. Imagine that. Payback's a bitch, and it affects the Sasha and Bayley storyline. But Drew McIntyre won with a backslide, and not many people were happy with this. They were not happy with how Drew won. I can definitely understand, because losing to a backslide or a simple roll-up can be kind of annoying. But I was okay with Randy losing. Then we had Bold Strowman take on The Fiend for the Universal Championship. This was the main event. And The Fiend won. The Fiend successfully regained the Universal Championship. Braun. My overall opinions on Braun's run as Universal Champion. It was okay. It was okay. He definitely wasn't the best Universal Champion. I'd say these last few weeks of him and The Fiend, I feel like these last few weeks as his run as Universal Champion was definitely the best parts of it. And the crazy thing about this is that there was no Alexa. That was the crazy thing about this entire match. There was no Alexa. We thought Alexa was going to be involved in some way, considering how WWE hasn't done anything. Shocking. WWE, throughout this entire show, had the tagline, "You'll never see it coming," and throughout the entire show, nothing shocking happened. Nothing shocking happened, and the fact that nothing shocking happened at all kind of ruined the tagline. But the tagline came into the effect right at the very end. And that was a spear. And we have the return of Roman Reigns. The returning Roman Reigns just comes out of nowhere and returns here. It was very surprising. It was great to see Roman back. But a lot of us were confused. Is Roman Reigns a heel? Is he a heel? Who's the babyface? People saying Bray's the face. Some people telling me Braun's the heel. People told me that Braun and Bray double turned. Braun turned heel. Bray turned face. I don't know what to believe. But people have been telling me. But some people think Roman Reigns turned heel on this day. On this day, Roman turned heel. Did Roman turn heel in your eyes? He had a new t-shirt, and some people think that he's the leader of Retribution. And you know what? Now that Roman's back, now that I think about it, he very well could be. He very well could be the leader of Retribution. But like I said, We didn't see no retribution at all. No retribution. We didn't see retribution at all. Not even once. We didn't see retribution not even once on this show. So I thought that was very strange that we didn't see retribution at all. I thought that would have played into effect or something. One of the ideas is that I heard someone pitch is that you see retribution backstage. They have Mandy Rose. They're going to hurt her. They're going to rip her arms off or something. And the Retribution members tell Otis to give their leader the Money in the Bank briefcase. And he gives the briefcase to their leader to save Mandy. And that leader ends up being Roman Reigns. And you have him come out and cash in and become Universal Champion. That would be an awesome way. That would have been an awesome way to have Roman turn heel. So, I'm not fully convinced. Roman's a heel, but he definitely had a new attitude. And I like it. So I think bringing Roman back as a bad guy, as a heel, if he is a heel, was definitely one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. And it's very surprising to see Vince McMahon pull off a heel turn for Roman Reigns. So overall, I enjoyed SummerSlam. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great show. Definitely one of the best pay-per-views all year. I definitely think it's one of the best pay-per-views all year. The Thunderdome has definitely improved. I love the Thunderdome. The Thunderdome was better. The people were there was noise. There was a lot of crowd noise, a lot of cheering, a lot of booing. There were crowd noise. So the Thunderdome has definitely gotten better. And I like it. I like that the Thunderdome's getting better. I myself is going to try and get into the Thunderdome myself. I love that. I want to try and get into the Thunderdome myself for this coming SmackDown. And if I can get into the Thunderdome, I will let you guys know what it's like to be in the Thunderdome. So anyway, guys, that is the end of this review. I hope you guys enjoyed my SummerSlam review. Hit that thumbs up if you guys did enjoy. Comment your opinions on SummerSlam down below. And also be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the subscribe button and even hit the notification bell so you guys will be updated whenever I post a video. And I will see you guys for Monday Night Raw.